Well, what happened here on Saturday night was described as Armageddon, water rushing up and down the town, covering more than 80 homes, just like this one. Now, Alex lives here, we'll hear from him shortly, but they've had to completely gut the house, all of the furniture, the fixtures, the fittings, the skirting boards. There's now just floorboards out in the other rooms, and the flooring in the kitchen has completely been ripped out too, because the water came up to here about 8 inches. Now, Alex was actually visited today by a minister from the Scottish Government.
Go on and have a look. Aye, go on and have a look. No bother, go on.
Emotions were running high at a meeting with the Scottish Rural Affairs Minister today. Residents of some of the 80 flooded homes took the chance to voice their concerns about how well they're protected from flooding. The water in Alex's house was 8 inches deep at one point. He's now had to rip up the flooring and find temporary accommodation.
The river just came up about 6:20. It just kept rising and rising and rising. And then it started flooding in through the back door, and then before you knew it, it was 8 inches. That was it, flooded.
Sweeping all the way down here.
On a tour around Newcastleton, Marie Goujon met with the local community council and resilience group who were involved in the evacuation.
It's just been really devastating, just meeting some of the people that have been affected by it, just walking past the house there, seeing some of the damage that it's done. That's why I'm down here today, because I really want to hear from people about what their experience has been, and to see where we can offer support and what more we can do. People need temporary accommodation, they need somewhere to stay. There's been so many people affected, and that's what I've been hearing about this morning. There aren't the houses for them nearby for them to stay in.
Here, plans for flood defences are at a very early stage. They expect to know by June whether this town will be declared a priority for funding.
So we've developed a local flood risk management plan, which has included a flood study for Newcastleton. So we've taken that to the community, we've developed a long list of options and then shortlisted that down to a preferred option. So that includes direct defences along the Liddell Water, the short cycle and potential restoration of the lakes area.
Despite there not being another named storm on the horizon, wet weather like this really does have the potential to hamper any recovery efforts. Scottish Borders Council have delivered several of these large skips for people in Newcastleton to really just dump any of the damp and wet material from inside their homes. As the clean-up continues and homeowners look for places to stay, a GoFundMe page has raised more than £2,000 for those worst affected. Now, the hope is people will be able to donate as much money as possible. But for Alex and his daughter, who lives around the corner, it's a waiting game. They're going to find out shortly what the insurance companies say. But they are fully aware, though, if flood defences do happen here, it won't be for quite a while yet.